Hi, this is Vanessa and welcome to the Lunar Review. Today I'm doing the astrology for May 10th and for May 12th. On the 10th, we've got Mercury, the planet Mercury is entering the sign of Taurus. And Mercury is the planet of communication and our intellect. It's the way that we think and the way that we share information, and it's the way we go about thinking about our ideas and expressing those ideas and just being in communication with other people. And it's also about adapting to one's environment. And Mercury, the Roman god Mercury, was actually able to enter the underworld, the land of the dead, at his own will. He had free passage to go there whenever he liked. He could go there unharmed, unscathed. He was a psychopomp, so he would deliver the newly dead souls. He would take them down, he would guide them to the underworld. So he had the privilege, if you can look at it that way, of being able to function in the underworld and in the regular world, in the outer world. So he knew how to adjust himself accordingly. So the rules, the decorum that you need when you're in the land of the dead, well, that's different than when you're in the land of the living, and Mercury could very fluidly make this adaptation. He is, in general, very adaptable, very flexible, and swift. There's definitely a swiftness about him. He was also the messenger of the gods, delivering messages between the gods and mortals, delivering secrets and plans and plots and all sorts of information, and some frivolous, some even gossip. So now we've got this sign Mercury, this planet Mercury, and it is entering a very yin sign, which is the sign of Taurus. So Taurus values at going a much slower, steadier pace than Mercury is used to. So you can kind of see right away how this is an interesting fit for Mercury to be taking on this flavor of Taurus. Mercury is the most gender fluid of the planets, can kind of take on the characteristics of the other planets and influences he is near, but I definitely think of him as yang, as very active and very engaging with the environment. Taurus, though, the bull, slow and steady. While yin is slow and more passive and takes her time, yang is super active and fast and hot. So Taurus is yin. Taurus does not need big thrills, does not need car chases, doesn't need to be out all night raving to just feel happy and satisfied with life. They like taking the route that is the most familiar. They like knowing where the potholes are going to be and where the road starts to go up, and then when it goes down and it gets easier and where you can coast. So this is all to say that they like the familiar. That's what makes them feel comfortable and happy. And Taurus believes that if things are working well, then don't meddle with them. Like don't touch them. Be conservative. Don't try too hard to innovate and change things if things are going really well, or even pretty well. For them, physical comfort is very important, and they seek their safety and comfort just by having basic needs met, by having a comfortable house, by having some money, by having some savings, having a nice food supply, knowing where their next meal is going to be coming from. And they like things to be slow and steady, and this is actually wonderful because this is how long-term projects succeed, and you can engage in projects that need a lot of care and patience and love, like raising children or tending a garden or just starting a business. Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the goddess of love and beauty and pleasure, and these are certainly all things that Taurus finds incredible value and derives pleasure from. She really loves to indulge in the five senses. So for her, she wants things to look good and to smell good and to feel good, and she wants to listen to beautiful music, and she really values her own body and treats it like a temple. Taurus also represents food and our food supply in general and agriculture. And this means for them just knowing that the food is there, that there will be a next meal. And for them, they want to eat regularly and eat enough and eat well. And it doesn't mean heavy, rich foods. It can just mean high quality foods, but that are regularly incoming, and probably with dessert, because they are definitely not ones to deprive themselves. Taurus really does not feel the need to pry into the darker side of things. She doesn't really need to peel back the covers. She doesn't even need to really go into heavy moral debates or ethical debates about things, because she is metaphorically living in a state of innocence. And by this I mean, on the zodiac, Taurus comes right before the sign of Gemini. And Gemini is the sign of duality and twins. It is the knowledge of good and evil. So we all know the story of the Bible of Adam and Eve, and Adam taking a bite of the apple, and boom, suddenly they realize that they are naked, that they are themselves, that they are separate from the Garden of Eden, and then they actually literally get cast out of the Garden of Eden. So with Gemini, we have the first instinct to peer into the dark side, to peel things back, and to know that there is another side, and to know that you are an individual. You are no longer part of the big cosmic womb. But with Taurus, this is the stage right before that happens. Aries is the first sign, Taurus, then Gemini. So Taurus lives on a more biological level, that she is more in tune with her natural instincts. And this is what she listens to. And this is inherently a peaceful, enjoyable, very in sync, very in tune type of lifestyle, type of life. You can just imagine how children who are growing up in a very Taurian household, they probably feel very loved, protected, and have got all of their material needs met. Mercury in Taurus will have us thinking more on an instinctual level and having more faith in our instincts, and about having us learn more through using our five senses. And this might be, instead of using the regular scholarly or academic modes of thinking and ways of learning, relying more on our instincts and our common sense, and developing our street smarts. This might not replace the other rational ways that we think, but it could supplement it and just bring it out, bring it more into favor and practice. We can trust that we're taking care of our bodies because we just feel better. Our body is stronger. We know what we're doing is good for our mind, because our mind is really sharp and crisp and clear. We might even have more curiosity about the organic world, the natural world, more, curiosity about its secrets. We could find that there's knowledge just from chilling, sitting in the grass, looking at the clouds and listening to birds. That these are more passive and receptive and yin modes of being and types of action. And this is really the intelligence that we use to interpret the world without using so many intellectual filters, but instead letting the body listen, feel, taste, and through this, sensual experience, then we can decide, well, what's important and what's not, what feels good, what do we reject, what's worth cultivating and what's worth preserving. So with things kind of slowing down in Taurus on the mental level, we might think or learn or process information more slowly, but do not take this as a bad thing or even as an insult, because it's actually the opposite. Because as a result, our thinking capacity might become more thorough, because we are taking the time to actually digest and analyze information. We are not racing to conclusions. We're not like having ADD and going off in a million directions and having one little thought and never developing it. We could be more content with storing up information. That's a very yin thing to do, is to be passive and take it in and to store it and to hold on to it. So we could take our time to process something, and we, in a very timely fashion, we think things through, and then we give an assessment, but not before. So it's about being okay, not having, some slick, heady answer already, flowing out of your mouth before you even really know what you're talking about. So at this point you could say, all right, well, I'm just happy to be here observing. I'm just gonna kind of chew on this stick and just ponder and look at what's going on around me. With Mercury in Taurus, you might even feel that your emotions are much more balanced or more balanced than normal. And this is because Taurus is an earth sign. She's grounded, she's fixed as well. So she likes regularity, routine, and in general, the familiar. And she's known to be one of the most emotionally stable signs in the zodiac. So this is good. It could mean a break for your nervous system if you are the more neurotic type or if you're high strung. You might be able to just simplify and soothe the complexities of your own mind. And however, thoughts and ideas about your personal security might come up. This is because Taurus represents our personal security. It does not get any more foundational than that. That you might be really challenged that what you thought was bringing you security just isn't. That you might have an outmoded life philosophy, and it's just not working. You're just not as happy. You don't have as much money as you need. So your own security, your own emotional and financial security could be coming up right now. So from now until May 25th, because on May 25th, the planet Mercury will be entering Gemini. So until then, when it's in Taurus, you might find that you've got the endurance to really think deeply about one thing, that you might find it easier to focus on one thing and to the exclusion of all others. And you can form an opinion that is very simple and elegant and just brilliant in its simplicity. So Taurus, being fixed and yin and earth, means that she can really dig her heels in and she can stick with one thing. So that is one opinion, one train of thought, one philosophy. Just dig in and stay there and never budge. So just beware of repeating your same party line in all your debates. Maybe you need to freshen up some of your cornerstone arguments. And just remember that not everyone's opinion, stories, or ideas will appeal to you, but just to keep an open mind, because Taurus, you can be so stubborn. And right now, if you can entertain these new ideas that are creeping up and bubbling up, if you can get over that, yes, they might cause you some insecurity at first, but overall that they can bring more practicality, security, and beauty into your life. On May 12th, we have got Mercury in Taurus squaring off with Pluto in Aquarius. So the square is an aspect that will bring a lot of dynamic tension and usually a lot of challenges. So it's just two planets facing off and they're equally as strong. So with Mercury in Taurus, she is a fixed sign. Pluto in Aquarius, Aquarius is also a fixed sign. So both of these are very routine, unwavering, stubborn. They both have a very fixed way of doing things and are actually quite reluctant to change that. Taurus is Earth, as we just learned. Taurus wants to proceed at a nice, easy, manageable pace, only taking risks when absolutely necessary. So thoughts, ideas, styles of communication represented by Mercury can be more deliberate and methodical. And during that time, you stick to what you know and identify with, and you don't want to change it. So the mind, in this case, is really pacified with the security of knowing what it knows and not seeking more. And then, voila, on the other hand, we've got Aquarius in Pluto. Aquarius is also a fixed sign, but it's an air sign, and air is all about intellect. So this is a sign that definitely excels at taking a risk, and it moves at lightning speed, at least in the mental realm it does. This sign really stands out against the crowd. They are contrarian by nature. They thrive on doing what everyone else isn't doing. And this is how they make breakthroughs in science and technology. Their element is air, so they live in the world of the mind, rationality and logic. They will expand beyond the normal ranges of thought and ideas. They'll head into the stratosphere, following their dreams. And they'll even forget about their own bodies and nutritional needs or sleep requirements in the pursuit of these dreams. And that is something that Taurus would be absolutely loath to do. So we come to this very powerful square right out of the gate because no sooner is Mercury trying to fit into the Taurian dress code and trying to, embody the characteristics of Taurus. And this placement is not exactly, I think, the best fit for the winged messenger, for Mercury. And so we have Taurus and Mercury squaring off with Pluto. And this is a very intense time because Pluto is the planet of intense transformation and buried secrets and power. So it's almost as if, yeah, everything that you thought you knew or everything that you thought was good and right and well, now you need to take another look because these views and thoughts and opinions, maybe your own academic training, it might not be up to par. These things might be completely outdated. You might have to shift your perspective or gather new information and not reject what your inner being, your instincts are telling you is true, even if acknowledging it will require you to rework your current paradigms. You might have to leave your comfort zone. But this is a really big opportunity for true wisdom and light to be integrated into your psyche, into your being. But if you're willing to let old thoughts and biases and prejudices and just maybe schooling and training, we have to let it die. You have to let it go. And what you think you know now or what you think you understand, it might not encompass the whole truth. That maybe somewhere along your educational journey you were deceived or denied information, or you didn't have all of the information, or you were willfully ignorant about something, because this is the type of deceit and treachery that Pluto rules over. So maybe now we have to take a second look at where our information is coming from. That maybe it's the media, our news sources, friends, neighbors. Maybe at this time it's a little bit hard to know who to trust and what source, and that it's your own inner being that can only be your true radar. The power of Pluto is such that all corrupt things eventually fall away. That if something is decaying and rotting, then it falls away. And this might be leaving you on your own for a while. You might feel somewhat abandoned, losing these precious thoughts and ideas and philosophies that you held so dear. But this loss will only last until you become more whole and trust yourself. And that is the beauty and the magic of Pluto, is that you can revitalize, and to know that if this is happening to you, that just know that, yeah, there is purpose behind what you're going through. That this is not some random meaningless event. It's not the universe designed to trip you up personally. Although it's extremely harsh, it's actually helping you to learn and grow and to ultimately initiate very refreshing and new perspectives. And it doesn't even have to be so dramatic. I mean, we talk about drama and intensity with Pluto because that's what he does represent. But in fact, there could be a huge boom, loud crash, and it could look really violent. But once it's over, you just maybe brush the dust off of you and it's okay. That it doesn't have to be particularly violent or bloody or painful or anything like that. That a lot of joy can come in through the process as well. So I think a big theme is that there is this opportunity just to incorporate new knowledge, especially the kind that's going to take you out of your comfort zone. That's how you know you're headed in the right direction, when you're thinking, geez, I don't even want to go there or touch that. That's probably the indication of that's where you should be heading. And yeah, if it's going to make you feel vulnerable, then this is exactly what you need to dive into, because it's just showing you where you're weak and where you can become much stronger. So, yes, I know it gets intense with Pluto, but it also depends on your personal birth chart and the influences there. So you may or may not feel this strongly. You may or may not feel it at all. Or you could even see other people around you. You could see how they are possibly affected by all of this. But if you would like to have a closer look at your natal chart, please feel free to reach me at my website, thelunarreview.com, for a reading. And as always, enjoy this transit, get the most out of it you can, and I will be back again.